Hello and welcome to This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. It's been a busy week for Minister Mustafa. This past week, we had the launching of the Agri-Investment Forum for 2023. It's the Agri-Investment Forum and Expo. You'll recall in 2022, it was the inaugural event, and that was a major success. It was the launch of the 25 by 2025 initiative, where collectively, as a region, they will try to reduce the food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. Now, Guyana has been leading that charge and bringing along its counterparts within CARICOM. Barbados is planting rice now. They're trying their hand at shrimp production. So to Trinidad and Tobago, they're also getting involved in aquaculture, rice cultivation again, and so are putting their shoulders to the wheel in terms of reducing collectively the food import bill by the year 2025. In Guyana, we've made several successes across the board. We have begun corn and soybean cultivation, and according to the Takama Gold conglomerate, they're going to be reducing the total import bill for stock feed inputs by 50% by the year 2025. So again, all across the board, we're seeing progress being made on this very ambitious goal to realize this 25 by 2025. This year's conference will, of course, fine-tune the plans made and the strategies employed to realize this ambitious goal of reducing the region's $7 billion food import bill, by the year 2025. So we'll be bringing you highlights of that launching ceremony. There were addresses made by Prime Minister, Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, Zulfikar Mustafa, and others. The private sector made a presentation. We'll be hearing bits and pieces of those presentations on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture. We'll also bring you up to date on some of the other activities happening this past week in agriculture. I'm Christopher Holder. This program is produced for television by Matrix Video Productions and advertising based in East Berbice. We will be back after these messages.
The Ministry of Agriculture is advising farmers and others in possession of leases for state lands that under the laws governing leasing of state lands, no person who leases land from government is allowed to sublet those lands to a third party unless written permission is sought and given to the leasee for this to take place. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has noted that this is happening in the MMA scheme, with overseas-based holders of land leases charging farmers who rent from them as much as $30,000 an acre, and by extension driving up the cost of production. The Ministry of Agriculture is therefore requesting all farmers interested in accessing lands to do so through the MMA ADA and pay just $3,600 per acre for both land rental and DNI rates. In the meantime, the board of the MMA ADA is now doing an audit of lands leased to overseas-based persons with a view to reassigning those lands if the owners are found to be exploiting small farmers of Region 5. Through the 2023 budget allocations to the MMA, it is anticipated that approximately 20,000 acres of lands will become available to farmers by the second half of this year. A message from the Ministry of Agriculture.
The Ministry of Agriculture advises that persons desirous of importing animal products, such as meats, must first acquire a permit and/or no objection to do so from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority (GLDA). Prospective importers must fill out an application for import license form. This must be handed in to GLDA along with a quotation from the supplier of the products to be imported, as well as a certificate of origin of the commodity. Meat and meat products must be from approved countries, and in cases where this is not so, then that country must apply directly to the GLDA for a permission to export to Guyana. In this case, a risk assessment is then conducted by the GLDA in association with the Veterinary Public Health Unit of the Ministry of Health. At the time of the application to GLDA, the importer must also indicate his or her interest in this regard to the Veterinary Public Health Unit, which plays a critical role in determining whether the license to import will be granted or not. If the import is allowed, the importer is notified by the GLDA. A fee is payable before the permit is prepared and issued to the importer. It should be noted that meat or meat products imported without an import license will be seized and destroyed. For more information on this and other issues, contact the GLDA head office on 220-6556 or email glda1910@gmail.com. Visit our Facebook page and leave a comment.
The Ministry of Agriculture is warning members of the public that it is illegal to dump garbage of any kind near to or into drainage and irrigation waterways across the country. The NDIA, the agency tasked with the maintenance of drainage and irrigation in Guyana, has noted that there is an alarming increase in the incidence of garbage getting into DNI waterways and causing blockages in the first instance. But worse than that, the garbage that includes clothing, rotting carcasses, pieces of wood and metal gets past protective grills of the critical mobile and fixed pumps, resulting in damage to the pumps, which have to be taken out of service for repairs, placing communities at risk, especially during the rainy season. The Ministry of Agriculture notes that when this happens, millions have to be spent on repairs to the pumps and on clearing the canals of debris thrown there by irresponsible citizens. The ministry warns that rangers of the NDIA will be on the lookout for those engaging in this illegal practice. Persons caught will be made to face the full force of the law. A message from the NDIA Ministry of Agriculture. We begin this week's edition by bringing you highlights of the launch of the 3rd Regional Agri-Investment Forum and Expo set for October 20 to 22 here in Guyana. The theme for this year's event is Accelerating Investment in Vision 25 by 2025. The well-attended launch was held in the lobby of the Atachang Convention Center and saw addresses by the private sector, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, and a feature address by Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips. Attendees included members of cabinet, executives of the private sector, members of the diplomatic corps, farmers, and agro-processors. The event was chaired by Mr. Sean Baugh of the CARICOM Secretariat. In delivering the feature address, Prime Minister Phillips spoke about the advances made in the region's agriculture sector over the last 3 years, pointing out that the 3rd event speaks to the commitment of all stakeholders in deepening the process of transforming the agri-food system through innovation and investment.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I wish to commend the regional leaders, regional agencies and stakeholders, and indeed the CARICOM Secretariat, for the tremendous work that has been undertaken in realizing the vision of reducing our regional food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. While international trade is vital for meeting the diverse dietary needs of our population, you would agree that over-reliance on food imports can have serious economic, environmental, and social implications. The actions of these regional leaders have sent a very clear message that as a region, we must work together to move forward in every aspect of food production system. I wish to commend Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, our Minister of Agriculture, and Chair of the Special Ministerial Task Force on Food Production and Food Security, for his leadership in moving this agenda forward towards ensuring efficiency and effectiveness in the implementation of the region's strategy aimed at advancing the CARICOM agri-food system.
The Prime Minister noted that through the collaborations with the regional private sector bodies, a number of initiatives have been devised and will now be advanced.
Working in collaboration with the Caribbean private sector organizations, a number of agri-food investment opportunities have been identified, such as corn and soya, meat products including poultry, fish and shrimp, and niche vegetables, among others. The potential import displacement value being pursued is between 850 million United States dollars and 1.2 billion United States dollars per annum. With the following regional collaborations, the identified import displacement value could be realized. And here are the following regional collaborations. The Black Belly Sheep Project between Guyana and Barbados. The U.S. CARICOM Food Security Committee multi-million-dollar support package for long-term development assistance to address food security and resilience in the region. The export of soybean meal to Trinidad and Tobago from Belize. The advancement of the regional food terminal between Guyana and Barbados and Suriname. The increase in cross-border investments, training, and technical assistance. And that will encompass Barbados, Belize, Guyana, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, additionally, increased infrastructure investment and expenditure in countries like Guyana, St. Lucia, Barbados, Jamaica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Montserrat has contributed significantly to the overall achievement rate of 57% of the targets set towards the 25 by 2025 goal in the very first full year of assessment.
Speaking to the efforts of Guyana in working towards the goal of 25 by 2025, Prime Minister Philip said Guyana's parliament recently approved supplementary spending in agriculture that has taken the year's budget for agriculture to $42 billion and demonstrates government's commitment to ensuring the expansion and modernization of the agriculture sector in Guyana.
Ladies and gentlemen, in Guyana, approximately 4% of the national budget was allocated to agriculture in 2023, and that is some $43.2 billion Guyana dollars. And that represents a 150% increase from 2019, where the allocation was only $13.3 billion. And with the recent supplementary budget of $8.5 billion, that will now take the money allocated for agriculture in the year 2023 to $42 billion Guyana dollars. Further, we are collaborating with the commercial banks to make agricultural financing available to agriculture producers. The farmers can now benefit from reduced interest rates for loans from the Delmar Bank for the rice and poultry industries. Republic Bank Limited has pledged $1 million of financing for the regional agriculture sector, and that is accessible also to the private sector for agriculture investment. Several transformational initiatives are being undertaken by the government of Guyana that are contributing to achieving the 25 by 2025 target. And Guyana has seen a significant increase in aquaculture development with a 500% increase in brackish water shrimp production, you heard before. Livestock meat production is expected to rise by 43%, and that is from 47,188 metric tons in 2020 to 67,647 metric tons in 2023, and onwards with a 50% growth projection as we approach 2025. Guyana will have 2 dairy processing facilities established by the end of 2023. Other crops, such as corn and soybean, turmeric and ginger, and cocoa, are being focused on. Also, shade houses are being constructed to cultivate high-value crops like carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower.
Earlier, in welcoming remarks, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has posited that this year's Agri-Investment Forum and Expo allows for the exploration of innovative financing models, harnessing cutting-edge technology, amplify the impact of the region's collective efforts.
We are gathered here with a collective understanding that to unlock the true potential of our agriculture sector, agri-investment along with various value chain must be addressed and accelerated. It is estimated, and it was discussed both in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago, it is estimated that at least $7.5 billion is in investment are required for the CARICOM region to achieve its 25 by 2025 target, and that's a very conservative manner. This forum, the Agri-Investment Forum, builds upon the foundation of our 25 by 2025 initiative. A visionary goal that aims to reduce our food import bill of approximately $6 billion by a resounding 25% by the year 2025. And just 2 years from now I'm speaking about. This ambitious objective has rallied our farmers, investors, partners, and all stakeholders around a common purpose, igniting a spark of innovation that will drive us towards a sustainable future. Allow me to take you back in time to the resounding success of the Agri-Investment Forum and Expo held in 2022, both in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. The vibrancy of those events reverberated throughout our nations and the region, resonating with the spirit of agri-entrepreneurship and progress. The partnership forged and ideas exchanged during the inaugural agri-investment in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago later, and bore fruits that extended beyond our expectation. These previous investment forum and the achievements that have underscored the power of collaboration and inspire renewed zeal to further amplify our efforts.
Also offering remarks at the launch Friday was Chairman of the Private Sector Commission, Mr. Komal Singh.
Guyana and the Caribbean region continue to develop itself into a robust food security hub. We have seen many initiatives that have been implemented by this government and the private sector to be an active participant to achieve the Vision 2025 by 2025. Achieving this cannot be done in a tunnel vision. It requires a holistic approach, including regional logistics hub, that will allow us to move our finished product in a manner most convenient to all stakeholders, while simultaneously improving efficiency, output, and economies of scale. This development also paves a wide avenue to include the single-parent, female, youth population into developing themselves and the industry as a whole. We must also not neglect the opportunity to address some regional trade barriers which currently cause limitation to market growth and development. Utilization of such an initiative, all-inclusive approach, Ghana will be poised at a position to rapidly grow our agriculture sector and that of the region. We have already seen major development over the years in the agri sector. And don't mistake and ask Minister Zulfikar to talk about the development that has taken place over the last couple of years in Ghana. We were at a meeting the other day, and one of our members mistakenly asked Mr. Zulfikar to talk about what happened. And trust me, he took almost 50 minutes, and he was talking about all the initiatives that is taken, and he still didn't finish. We had to stop him. The private sector has a significant opportunity here to offer meaningful contribution by forming a consortium and partnership that will assist in developing major mega farms and agro-processing facilities, which will allow us to develop a robust agriculture sector in the region. The logistics aspect also provides a huge opportunity in increasing the framework for shipping and transferring all goods and services through the region. We have talked in the past a lot as it relates to developing the agri sector, grow more, etc. But if we don't include marketing and moving our finished product into the region, then we will reach a stage where we produce everything and we're at a standstill and we can't move our product to meet our consumer. It is critical at this point in time that the private sector take the initiative at this point in time to work on a more aggressive regional logistics approach where we can move our product and services easily around the region. The Agri-Investment Forum offers an excellent opportunity for farmers, food processing facilities, and other service providers to showcase their product. I wish you all, and thank you very much.
This year's Agri-Investment Forum and Expo is set for October 20 to 22 under the theme Accelerating Investment in Vision 25 by 2025. This will be a major highlight of Agriculture Month this year. On Saturday, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa commissioned another critical piece of equipment in the effort to enhance government's drainage and irrigation program across the country. The latest addition to the fleet of machinery for the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority is a new cut-ahead dredge, the first of its kind for the ministry. It was procured at a cost of $497.5 million and will be used to desilt outfall channels and improve drainage systems across the country. In brief comments, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa said the new dredge is another example of government's commitment to delivering quality services through investment in state-of-the-art equipment.
Today's commissioning of this piece of equipment is testimony to the government's commitment in modernizing our infrastructure. The Speaker will agree with me because he sat as the Speaker in the National Assembly over the last 3 years, and he will know firsthand the appropriation for various sectors in our country. And I am very happy and proud as your Minister of Agriculture that over the last 3 years we have seen budgetary allocation to the agriculture sector increase by 150%. In 2015, the last year of the PPP civic government in office, or when the PPP civic government left office in 2015, the budget in the agriculture sector was $18 billion. When I became Minister of Agriculture in 2020 August, I reached a budget of $13 billion. So instead of increasing budgetary allocation, we have seen a decrease. And the Director General would have alluded to the fact just now that when we went into the Ministry of Agriculture, there were a lot of equipment that were not use because many of them were not operable. There are a number of sluices, number of outfalls, number of canals that need rehabilitation. In less than 3 years, we were able to fix a number of these infrastructure. You heard the chairman of the NDI just said that over the last 3 years we have purchased and fixed 28 new pumps across this country. That's a monumental achievement for us, because when you look from 2015 to 2020, we just had close to about 12 of those fire pumps. The speaker would have known when I answered to some question in the parliament, the pumps that they bought in around 2017 were a small engine. Up to now we are struggling with the contractor from India to get a replacement of proper engine or to recoup our money. But this, I am just repeating this thing to show the contradiction that exists, that today people are coming out and saying that you must do this, do that, and do this. But when they were there and they had a chance to do it, they just blow it off, and that is why today we are seeing progress in our country where the entire landscape is being changed.
The dredge is outfitted with a global positioning system, GPS, life-saving and fire protection equipment, propulsion and steering systems, and operating equipment, which includes 2 excavators, a cutter head, and a generator, living quarters for 9 operators, among other things.
The Ministry of Agriculture advises that persons desirous of importing animal products, such as meats, must first acquire a permit and/or no objection to do so from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority (GLDA). Prospective importers must fill out an application for import license form. This must be handed in to GLDA along with a quotation from the supplier of the products to be imported, as well as a certificate of origin of the commodity. Meat and meat products must be from approved countries, and in cases where this is not so, then that country must apply directly to the GLDA for a permission to export to Guyana. In this case, a risk assessment is then conducted by the GLDA in association with the Veterinary Public Health Unit of the Ministry of Health. At the time of the application to GLDA, the importer must also indicate his or her interest in this regard to the Veterinary Public Health Unit, which plays a critical role in determining whether the license to import will be granted or not. If the import is allowed, the importer is notified by the GLDA. A fee is payable before the permit is prepared and issued to the importer. It should be noted that meat or meat products imported without an import license will be seized and destroyed. For more information on this and other issues, contact the GLDA head office on 220-6556 or email glda1910@gmail.com. Visit our Facebook page and leave a comment.
Well, that's all the time we have on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. We'll be keeping you up to date on all the exciting things happening in agriculture. If you haven't started a kitchen garden, you want to get started right away. If you want help, NARI, the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute, is there to help. We can provide you with seedlings and seeds, if you like, and of course technical advice on how you could ensure that you have a successful crop, however small it is. Okay? So, until next time then, be good to yourselves and